Your survival group meets every third Sunday. You've got the ex-military guy who owns too many knives, the nurse who stockpiles antibiotics like Pokemon cards, the IT guy with the ham radio nobody knows how to use, and Karen who brings homemade beef jerky that tastes like disappointment. You think you're the smart ones. You think when society collapses, you'll activate your phone tree, your emergency communication protocol, and transform into a post apocalyptic A team. You're about to learn why your survival group is actually a suicide pact with extra steps. Day zero arrives exactly like your group didn't plan for. Half your members don't show up. Not because they're dead, because they're with their actual families, suddenly remembering that blood is thicker than your Thursday night LARP sessions. Jim, your security specialist who spent $3,000 on night vision goggles, he's stuck in traffic 40 miles away. Sarah, your medic, she's at the hospital, being an actual nurse instead of playing one in your bunker. But let's pretend everyone shows up. Miracle of miracles, all 15 members of your Suburban Survival Alliance arrive at your predetermined bug-out location. You know what you've just created? A buffet for actual predators. 15 cars in one driveway. 15 families worth of supplies being unloaded. You might as well put up a neon sign saying, "Rob us, we have everything, and we're not military, we're accountants with delusions." Here's the math your group leader with the laminated badges never mentions. 15 people means 15 opinions on everything. Where to go, what to do, who's in charge, when to leave, whether to help strangers, whether pineapple belongs on pizza when pizza no longer exists. Every decision becomes a committee meeting, and committees are how you die by consensus. While you're voting on whether to ration the rice or eat normally, actual survivors are already taking your rice. Democracy is beautiful until it's trying to decide whether to fight or flight while someone's kicking down your door. The resource sharing you planned, that socialist utopia where everyone contributes equally, watch how fast it becomes, "I brought my entire gun collection" versus "I brought my essential oils kit." Steve showed up with 3 years of freeze-dried food. Madison brought her emotional support chickens. Tom has ammunition, but no food. Rebecca has food, but thinks guns are icky. Everyone contributed what they thought was important, which means you're basically playing post-apocalyptic Pokemon cards. "I'll trade you 3 antibiotics for your water filter." No way. "But I'll give you this crossbow for your daughter." Wait, what? But here's where your survival group becomes a death cult with meetings. Trust. That's the word you keep using. We trust each other. Really? You trust Kevin with your life? Kevin who forgot to bring batteries to the last meeting? Kevin who told his drinking buddies about your supply cache? Kevin who's been texting his ex-girlfriend your bug-out location because he's hoping collapse makes her desperate enough to take him back? You don't actually trust these people. You trust the idea of these people. You trust Tuesday night Kevin, not starving daughter Kevin. Those are different Kevins, and you're about to meet the one you didn't plan for. The skills matrix you created, that beautiful spreadsheet where everyone has a role, it's adorable. Like a kindergarten play where everyone gets to be something special. Bob's your engineer because he fixes computers. Linda's your agricultural specialist because she has tomatoes on her apartment balcony. Mike's your combat expert because he played Call of Duty professionally in 2012. When reality hits, you discover Bob can't fix anything without YouTube tutorials, Linda's plants all died last month, and Mike's combat experience doesn't translate when the enemies don't respawn and there's no lag to blame. Your communication playing is encrypted radios and coded messages. Very spy novel, very dead battery. When the grid fails, so does your charging station. Your backup plan is meeting at predetermined locations. Those locations are now occupied by people who didn't read your manual. Your tertiary plan is carrier pigeons, except nobody actually bought pigeons because that was stupid. So your communication degrades to, "I hope everyone remembers what we talked about 6 months ago when we were drunk." The hierarchy you established, the one with ranks and responsibilities, watch it evaporate like your pension fund. The moment real danger appears, nobody cares that you elected Brad as leader. Brad's a middle manager at a failing insurance company. His leadership experience is scheduling Zoom calls and saying, let's circle back on that. When someone needs to decide whether to abandon the wounded or risk everyone, Brad's gonna curl up in the corner, sucking his thumb and calling for HR. Children. Jesus Christ, the children. Your group has 7 kids under 12. You thought they'd adapt, become resilient little survivors. Instead, they're loud, hungry, constantly sick, and their parents will sacrifice your entire group to save them. Little Timmy's insulin needs refrigeration. Guess your operational security just died for a cooler run. Sweet Emma has asthma. Now you're raiding pharmacies for inhalers while the adults with guns watch. Kids aren't just dependents in collapse. They're mission-critical failures waiting to happen, and their parents are the trigger mechanism. Resource consumption is where the math gets spicy. 15 people eating 2,000 calories a day means 30,000 calories daily. That's 20 pounds of food every single day. Your 3-month supply? It's 3 weeks if everyone's honest. It's 10 days when people start stress eating. It's 5 days when you realize Tom's been feeding his dog human rations and Sarah's husband wasn't supposed to be here but showed up anyway. You're not a survival group. You're a very expensive dinner party that never ends. Wait, it gets better. And by better, I mean hilariously worse. Internal conflict starts immediately. Not over big things like whether to raid neighbors or accept refugees, over stupid things. Who does dishes? Whose kids are too loud? Why Marcus gets to stand watch in the warm spot? Whether Janet's essential oils count as medical supplies? These aren't philosophical differences. They're marriage ending, friendship destroying, group splintering arguments about toilet paper distribution. You thought the collapse would unite you against external threats. Instead, you're about to kill each other over who used the last of the good coffee. The weak links multiply like rabbits on Viagra. Everyone has that one family member they couldn't leave behind. The spouse who didn't believe in prepping but came anyway. The adult son who's actually just a large child with a beard. The sister-in-law who brought her boyfriend you've never met, who's definitely not sketchy at all with those face tattoos and twitchy hands. Each weak link has their own weak links. It's a pyramid scheme of liability. Medical issues you never planned for start appearing. Turns out Steve didn't mention his bipolar disorder, managed by medication he can't get anymore. Linda's husband is an alcoholic, and withdrawal is setting in. 3 people have chronic pain managed by opioids that just ran out. Your medically trained nurse? She's great at trauma. Less great at managing 7 different psychiatric crises while rationing antibiotics for the UTI outbreak caused by poor sanitation. Your survival group is becoming a mobile psychiatric ward with guns. The knowledge problem is hilarious if it wasn't lethal. Everyone read different books, watched different YouTube channels, follows different experts. Half your group thinks you should bug in. Half thinks you should bug out. Someone insists on drinking their own urine because Bear Grylls did it once. Another refuses to eat the deer Tom shot because they're vegan even in apocalypse. You're not coordinating survival. You're hosting a debate club where losing the argument means death. Loyalty evaporates like your water supply in summer. When another group offers food for information, watch how fast your members flip. When someone's kid gets sick and another group has medicine, see how quickly your location gets traded. When things get truly bad, people don't betray you dramatically. They just leave. One morning, the Johnsons are gone with their share of supplies and your fuel. By evening, the Smiths have vanished with the antibiotics. Your group doesn't dramatically collapse. It just ghosts you, one family at a time. The security theater you've created is adorable. Dave falls asleep on watch because he needs his CPAP machine. Jennifer gives the password to someone with kind eyes. Mike abandons his post to take a dump and gets distracted by a beetle. Your security isn't just bad, it's a neon sign advertising free supplies to people who actually know violence. Here's what your tactical leader won't admit. Successful survival groups are built on blood, decades of trust, or mutual criminal liability. The Amish were survived because they've been practicing since 1693. The mafia will thrive because they already operate outside the law. Your suburban book club with matching tactical vests, you're just a buffet with a sign up sheet. The worst part? Success makes you a target. Survive the first month, and congratulations, you've graduated from unprepared victim to prepared victim with supplies worth taking. Every desperate family knows where 15 people can't possibly hide. Every gang has you on their route. Have your own group is already planning to bug out from your bug out, about to discover the highways are rivers of broken glass and bad decisions. Want to know why loading up your truck and heading for the hills is just signing your death certificate with extra steps? Watch Why Bugging Out Will Get You Killed next, where you'll learn why your escape route is everyone else's shopping mall and why the safest place in the apocalypse might be the house you're desperately trying to leave.